And now, the Tripod presents the Heel Currency episode.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Tripod special. It's the Heel Currency special. Now, you've seen our currency specials in the past. I usually combine them with the actual Tripod show, but seeing as how we have a gift of waxing poetic, I've decided to split the shows. So this will be the Tripod Heel Currency special, and then you'll see the regular Tripod afterwards. Stixie Drip Drip, my friend, how are you doing? How was your week?
Week's pretty good. Next week is looking fantastic because your boy's on vacation, so
Ooh, nice.
Gonna be on a lot of wrestling and some other things on the DVR, and been looking forward to doing a new episode of the Tripod, especially when you hatched the brilliant idea of doing some heel currency. So your boy had to do some research, had to go back in the memory vault and do a few checking on the internet. So we're here to do this today.
The Heel Currency episode is inspired by WWE's special Evil, which of course put us in touch with all the classic heels. They didn't mention all of them, so hopefully we'll get to some of our own. And Lear is the third Tripod member joining us just in the nick of time, so for we can name our $1 heel. Cesar. Fuck shit, 316, buddy. How was your week? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good or doing good?
No, just doing good.
Doing good? Okay. All right, well, let's kick things off with our $1 heel. This is my honorable mention heel.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it like loud or I got a new microphone, so I'm testing it out.
Yeah, you sound fine. You sound perfect, actually.
I'm like literally 10 feet away from this thing. Like, it's like way over here.
You know what I noticed when you talk and sometimes you go like this, like you start fading out and shit.
Yeah.
So hopefully the new mic, is it a Blue Ice?
No, it's a Shure 7.
Okay.
Shure M7. It's supposed to be a podcast mic, so.
Perfect timing. So gentlemen, when I made this list, 6 obvious heels, boom, came into mind. I was like, I can't do that. I don't want to risk that much crossover because I know for a fact we're all going to have one crossover. I know it. And Bretsky sent his in as well, so I'll splice his in.
Well, he's talking in the chat. He can't get on a computer for 10 minutes.
You know, Cesar, he's over there dipping his D in some tea. We're going to kick things off with, I know for a fact you guys won't have this on your list. It's my honorable mention, $1 heel.
Wait. Should we make the change honorable mention? Because I feel like currency is like the dollars.
This is just mine personally.
Okay.
You guys have your own spin. I got my own spin. This is just my spin. The honorable mention, $1 heel from Parts Unknown. He is currently 60 years old. As a younger wrestling fan, this was the only thing that creeped me out besides Jake the Snake having a snake attack Macho Man. I did not like the big scary voodoo man coming to the ring with a smoking skull and weird ass gear, making Warrior vomit some green shit. He had the original Black Skeet in your soul, setting that one honky's boots on fire. Even though this was a short-lived character, he made an impression on me, giving out curses and looking freaky. My $1 heel is Papa Shango. Cesar, $1 heel. There's no way we have crossover, right?
Well, I have an honorable mention that is not my $1 heel because I took the list as the list for, I guess, currency is a starting 6, and this is the man on the bench. My change, if you will, not my $1 heel. I guess I'll do both. My change, if you will, is,
Change.
yeah, this is going on.
I should have thought of that. Damn it.
Yeah,
The brother quarter.
pretty much. If they allowed you into the store to buy one Uncle CD the brother quarter that changed. And this is all on potential. All on potential.
That's mine later.
He is currently wrestling, and everybody hates him, and he spreads the hate throughout everywhere. It is the one man that our favorite announcer even hates. Yes, the man known as Wade Barrett, but the man known as Grayson Waller.
Oh, okay.
Grayson Waller has the potential to be a great heel of all time.
No.
The way he shits on everybody, even the dudes he teams with, as we'll get into later this week. Grayson Waller. Even the way he used the arm, we'll get into it later this week. Everybody hates this guy. No matter who you are, heel or face, you hate Grayson Waller. You want to see him get punched in the face. That is the epitome of a good heel. So hopefully transitions into a future career with him. I think he's found his niche being a heel, taking over the top spot, always sneaking in, pulling tricks, doing some dirty shit to get a dub. Grayson Waller is my change. My number one heel on the greatest of all heels list, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
This is your $1?
Yeah. Because it's all timeless. All timeless. Now, granted, Vince doesn't wrestle a lot, but Vince has been a heel damn near his whole career.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. He screws over the top heels all the time. I gave it to other people because they wrestle as heels. They cut promos as heels. Vince doesn't wrestle that much. But yes, Vince is always there, but he doesn't wrestle as much. And he doesn't do social media or anything. So, like, Vince really rarely gets over as a heel. He's just on TV as a heel, but he rarely, like, breaks the news from doing some heel shit. That gets everybody talking, doing some heel shit. So, my number $1 is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, one of the greatest heels of all time.
Stixie Drip Trip, who is on your $1 bill, or do you have some spare change laying around as well?
I do have some change in the couch cushion underneath the seat in the old Impala. And mine, this is no insult to this gentleman, but my honorable mention, my man coming off the bench, the man who would be the brother Quota CD is Matt Taven. 3 words that made a lot of people mad through Ring of Honor. The Kingdom Conspiracy. The gentleman also had, when he broke in, he had Truth Martini. He was facing Adam Cole. I forget what tournament it was, but his heel manager, Truth Martini, hit Adam Cole in the back of the head with the Book of Truth, allowing Matt Taven to win. And I can't remember if it was during a Ring of Honor TV championship match or if that propelled him into that. But my coming off the bench, the change, which is this is some really good change to have in your couch, is Matt Taven.
And you know, Andy, while he's reading the Book of Truth, he eats with the spoon of truth.
This might actually make Andy a little mad. Andy might think that this guy should be higher on the list, on the poll, but we all have different opinions.
Yeah, I appreciate you including Matt Taven. I don't think he's ever been really talked about on the tripod at all, really. Who is on your $1 bill?
He's killing it. He's killing it in Impact right now with Honor No More. So,
who is on your $1 bill?
My $1 bill was the heartbeat of Impact, Eddie Edwards. Him and Davey Richards were the American Wolves, which Andy will tell you about. And I believe this is one of Andy's best tag teams. But they were the American Wolves, and Impact won Impact tag team titles. I believe they even, I'm thinking they did. They had some crossover. They were Ring of Honor tag team champions. And then just recently, about 2-3 months ago, Eddie Edwards turned his back on Impact and joined Honor No More. So my $1 bill was the heartbeat of Impact Wrestling, Eddie Edwards.
Oh my God. It's me. It's TGB, the Great Bretsky 99 here. And I know you just heard the voice of the tripod, Styx, Caesar, and Mangria Fuel talking about the currency, the tripod currency. It's making its grand return. This is bigger than Stone Cold's in-ring return at WrestleMania. This is bigger than anything that's ever happened in the history of history. Until right now, because I'm back with my currency, because what would the currency be without the Tripod's resident Jew? Now, before we get any further, I would just like to say, well, congratulations on getting it this far, making it this far through the Tripod, without immediately just, going off and getting some beer to join with Cesar. I'm guessing he's probably pretty drunk by now. For all I know, this could be at the 5-hour mark and they haven't even started talking about AEW yet. But if you haven't started drinking, then what are you doing? I'd like to remind you that it's legal for me to be drinking right now. This, of course, is a Carlsberg Danish Pilsner. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Carlsberg. So, to you boys, I would just like to say, cheers. Here you go. Here's to you. And here's to the $1 bill for the Great Bretsky 99's Tripod currency. Now, of course, if you have watched any old episodes of the Tripod, you'll know how I usually go about my currency ratings, and it rings somewhat true here, but this is more of just a straight ranking, because there's so many great heels. We could have gone into dollars and cents, and there still wouldn't be enough spots for everyone I wanted to include on here. But I got a pretty good list going. I think that you guys will agree with most of what I'm saying. If you disagree with any of my picks, or if you think I should have put them in different places, or any of the guys, if they think any of the guys should have put them in different places, or you think they should have included or did not included anyone, let us know in the comments. We love to hear your comments, so to get you guys involved a little more. Give us your currency, actually. Give us your currencies for wrestling heels in the comment section below, and we'll let you know what we think. But for my $1 bill, I'm going to go with a man who actually just recently was on the latest episode of the Broken Skull Sessions. And I'm going with Bubba Ray Dudley, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him, because let's face it, I mean, that guy just got such insane heat at so many points in his career. I mean, he wasn't even, I mean, as he said on the podcast, he wasn't even planning on being a singles guy. And now he's a 2-time TNA World Champion, had some of the most heat in the business at the time. Even when he's one of the most popular tag teams of all time, I think Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley, whatever you want to call him, is just an absolute heat magnet. He still is an absolute heat magnet, depending on where you stand in some of his comments. If you listen to Sirius XM, but yeah, that's my pick for my $1 bill. That is Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray Dudley. Yeah, man. Well, here's to you. Let's get back into the Tripod, huh? Shall we? Let's hear what the Styx or Mangria or Cesar's next number $5 bill is, huh? Let's see what they say. Let's see what I say coming up next.
My $5 bill is my definitely not going to be a crossover appeal. Besides Papa Shango, my $5 bill, hailing from Sweetwater, Texas, and later New York City, but he went back to Texas, he's currently 55 years old. This dude went from coming to the ring with a rope and a cowbell to becoming an ass-kicking acolyte, to opening a protection agency, to then becoming a dominating piece of shit heel champion, racist at times, chasing Mexicans at the borders. JBL split from longtime partner Farouk to take the WWE Championship from Eddie Guerrero, to then keep that championship at all costs for 280 days. He even had his own henchman in his group called the Cabinet. He has often been accused of being a real life heel in the locker room as well. Lord only knows when we'll get a Dark Side of the Ring featuring JBL's behavior, and he'll be canceled. But my $5 bill heel is John Bradshaw Layfield. Coming out with them Texas Longhorns, the fucking limo. Cesar, who made your $5 bill?
My $5 bill heel. It's a guy who main evented WrestleMania. Guy who has won many, many titles. Married, 2 kids. Actually, he's the only ever double Grand Slam winner in WWE. His wife's got some big old mommy milkers. Oh, they're delicious. They look delicious. And he's been a heel damn near his whole career. His face run was shit. I think they shit canned it in 3 weeks. He is the one. He is the only. Straight out of the world, New York. He is the Miz. He came to play. He came to play.
Still one of my favorite theme songs.
Yeah. Still good. Still good. I mean, the Miz has gone through the transition of whatever. I just sitting in the chat. I watched his evil thing. Yeah, he's not that dickish in real life. Sometimes he is. But I mean, the character work he puts into it, to knows that he goes out there, the crowd hates him. The way he hypes his character up, no matter what happens. Yeah, I mean, he just pisses everybody off at all times. But he does win championships. That may be the worst WrestleMania of all time, but he still main evented WrestleMania. He still won. Still kept the belt. But the Miz does great heel work any and every day. I mean, he was with Lucha Logan, had him looking good at Mania, and then literally crossed his bitch ass after he got the dub. Because he doesn't need you. He just needed you to fill in to be a tag team so he could take some rest to beat up them hoes. Now he's back in the streets, being the Miz. Miz is my $5 bill, one of the best heels of all time. He's still continually wrestling, but yeah, best heel of all time.
Stixie Drip Drip, who made your Lincoln, your $5 bill?
My $5 bill is a man who just took a loss last night in the main event of Impact Wrestling's Rebellion. My $5 is the wrestling god.
JBL?
Moose.
I just said JBL.
Moose. He just in the last less than a year took Josh Alexander's wrestling dream of becoming Impact World Champion and made it a sore spot of his career. This man showed up at Josh Alexander's house, dropped off a signed contract for the Impact Rebellion Heavyweight Championship match at his doorstep with his wife and his young kid there. My $5 bill is Moose.
Nice. See, I gave Sticks the direction of going in different promotions other than what we'll probably have Cesar. So we'll definitely not have any crossover with old.
You might have one or two, maybe.
Okay.
Welcome back to Bretsky's Tripod Currency. Of course, doing this, I guess, via satellite, kind of like the classic WWE interviews when they just had some random ass dude on the screen via satellite, clearly pre-taped. Bretsky's Tripod Currency via satellite. Before we get going, just to give you guys a little more of an update as to my situation, what I've been doing, in case you haven't been following along, or I don't really know how much has been put out there. I am right now back in London, got some essays, got some final exam essays, all that fun stuff coming up, due in some in the next few days, some in the next few weeks. But I've been keeping up with wrestling. I've been enjoying it as much as I possibly can. I've been traveling the world. Actually, Carlsberg from Denmark. Actually, just got back from Copenhagen 2 days before I'm at least recording this. I think 3 days before it gets published. But yeah, so I still don't know when I'll be back full time. If I'll be back full time on the Tripod. My internship situation is kind of cloudy right now. But I will definitely keep you guys posted as I find out more information about what my future will be, and I'll try to come on as much as I can, with Jews of the Week or Currency or any kind of cameos going forward with the Tripod. But you guys don't want to hear all that crap. You want to hear who my pick for my $5 bill is. Now, we're talking about wrestling heels. We should really be talking about wrestling gods, because my $5 bill goes to the one and only John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL. And you want to talk about Bubba Ray Dudley, Bully Ray, as I mentioned for my $1 bill. Coming from one of the most popular tag teams, they still got pretty big heel heat when they were heels. All of a sudden, he breaks out into the singles run that no one really expected or anticipated or really thought they wanted, and he became one of the biggest heels in the business. Now do that to JBL, except he was the WWE champion. And people were like, TNA, you make sense. You go experiment. TNA's going to do their own thing. If it fails, it's like, oh, just Dixie Carter doing some random shit again. But JBL, out of nowhere, kind of out of only those popular tag teams, I would say ever, in the APA, becomes this uber heel that in the semi-modern era was getting 1980s heat. Now, it's so hard to top that. I mean, that just speaks to the volume of the quality of the heels that I'm going to mention in my later bills, because he's only the $5 bill. But man, I mean, you want to talk about how good of a heel he was. John Cena would not be John Cena if it wasn't for JBL being such a heel. I mean, that's what propelled Cena into the stratosphere. JBL, I don't know what else to say. I mean, again, same kind of thing with Bully Ray. He's still a heel now. You hear some of the stories coming out of those fucking locker rooms. People online hate him. I love him, but people online hate him. And then he was on commentary. He was a dick on commentary. My God, JBL is fantastic. I mean, just go back to WrestleMania 36, when it was in the Performance Center. Remember that? Oh, I remember very vividly, for whatever reason, the Otis versus Dolph Ziggler match. Just JBL going in on Otis. And Otis being the babyface he was at the time, JBL is such a dick. And that's why I love him, and that's why he gets my $5 bill. There, JBL, I will say, and I would have given a bill to MJF if there was one more bill that we would have given, but he's just... The only reason I'm not is because he's too young and hasn't done enough yet. I think maybe in 1 year, 2 years, he's on this list, but just only because he hasn't done nearly as much as he can and will do. That's the only reason. Like he gets my 50 cent or something like that. But I would argue that JBL is a top 3 heel of the 2000 plus years. Like, as in, like, from 2000 onward. He's just that good. And, you know what? In the spirit of the APA, JBL, here's to ya. Let's get back to the rest of the tripod.
My $10 heel currency. He apparently is from Hellfire and Brimstone. He's 54 years old currently. He's the devil's favorite demon. One of the first to actually get me worried for whoever was going to face him. The lights would go out and the flames exploded. Cue the music. Some poor souls getting choke slammed straight to hell. Things only got worse when he was unmasked. This sadistic son of a bitch set JR on fire, hooked jumper cables to Shane O'Mac's sack and shocked him in front of the crowd. Had an extremely uncomfortable, rapey relationship with Lita, and Tombstone Linda's Bush. I'm not even going to get into the Katie Vick shit. Strangely enough, this man was my mom's favorite wrestler. Now the mayor of Knox County, this man has taken his place in the WWE Hall of Fame. Kane is my my $10 heel currency.
Fuck that girl in the coffin.
Go ahead. Who is on your $10 heel currency?
Fuck that girl in the coffin. That's some good shit. My $10 bill. I'm gonna have to use the front and back of this bill, gentlemen. My $10 bill are technically a 3-man group. Sex the wrestling world on fire when they first debuted. Well, technically 2 of them debuted, and then 1 of them came later and sexed the world on fire. One of them broke Rey Mysterio's neck the first night on the scene by darting that hoe into a trailer.
The 3-man band.
Oh my God, it was such good shit. I'm talking about that crack with the Hurricane and his group, where they were the what was their name? Now I'm thinking of them. What was their name?
The boy band.
Yeah, the Shannon Moore, Greg Helms, and 3 count. 3 count.
Yeah,
yeah. 3 count. But no, it's not them.
That would have drove me crazy if I would have been able to find that.
The $10 bill on the front and back is I hate to admit it, but this was a great time in wrestling, and this is what makes a great heel. When you just got shit on, people were throwing shit in the ring, kind of like an old ECW show where they would throw chairs if they didn't like some shit. It is Hollywood Hogan and the Outsiders, basically the NWO, the original 3-man band of the NWO. Those guys were great heels. They terrorized that whole fucking company as 3 guys. They beat up everybody. Hell, they tased Goldberg to win the tase that nigga. Who would have ever thought about bringing a taser to the ring to win the strap? Tase that motherfucker. Yeah, tase that motherfucker. I think they maced somebody in the ring once, then invented the finger poke of doom in a match, hyped it up. Oh, so good. So fucking good. Yeah, Hollywood Hogan, NWO, my $10 bill.
Spray painting people in the ring.
Spray painting people in the ring, just up and down their back, yellow, and then writing NWO. Spray the goddamn title. Spray the title.
Go ahead, Steve.
My $10 bill, and this very well might have some crossover, maybe not, but his run on New Japan Pro Wrestling and the ability to recreate himself as a heel in a pretty big one at the time in New Japan, the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, showing up, facing Kenny Omega, and just showing up himself, not as Y2J, not as Lionheart, but as the Painmaker, set shockwaves around the wrestling world, but also kind of got him out the door of WWE, and maybe not. Maybe he shows back up in WWE. I would imagine he probably will. But my $10 bill, the Painmaker, Chris Jericho.
Nice. That dude, I mean, yeah, like he said, the way he reinvents himself is amazing.
And here we are at the $10 bill. And for the $10 bill for the Great Wrestling 99, I'm thinking, why don't we get a little rowdy? Of course, I am referring to Rowdy Roddy Piper, one of the best heels of all time. That's why he is on my tripod currency list. My God, I mean, revolutionized the promo, revolutionized the talk show segment, and that kind of style of having his own talk show. I mean, look at the things that have followed Piper's Pit because of him, and it's given the heel a way to be even more of a dick. I mean, we've had the Brother Love show, we've had Miz TV, the Peep Show was a face thing, but yeah, even for faces, it's come about. The Ambrose Asylum, whatever the fuck it was called. I mean, we've had so much spur off of Piper being an absolute jackass on Piper's Pit, and that alone would have gotten him with a spot on the tripod currency. But no, he's done so much shit to get all of that heat. My God, I mean, go back and watch. When he was a babyface, he pulled that off too. But when he was a heel, go back and watch some of those segments that he would. I mean, just him hitting Snuka with the coconut. That alone. I mean, you go back, him and Mr. T, I mean, he main evented the first ever WrestleMania because he was such a dick. He was that good. He was so good at being an asshole that he didn't even need the WWE Championship to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time. And that's how you know you're a phenomenal fucking heel. Or just a phenomenal talent in general. And for that reason, Rowdy Roddy Piper, I mean, what else can be said about Rowdy Roddy Piper? I can sit here for 20 minutes. I could pull a Caesar and just talk, instead of talking about, some night out at the club last night, talk about how great of a fucking promo and how great of a heel Rowdy Roddy Piper is. So I won't, because, I mean, if you know anything about wrestling, you know how fucking great Rowdy Roddy Piper was. And if you don't, just go on YouTube. Go on Wikipedia or anything like that. So for that, $10 bill goes to Rowdy Roddy Piper, and, rest in peace to Rowdy Roddy Piper. And, of course, big ups to Stallion Pete.
Well, the $20 bill, as Cesar had mentioned earlier, the potential bill. This is where I believe we will have some crossover. From Plainview, New York, he is only 26 years old. The brightest piece of shit star in AEW, next to Dan Lambert. He is one of the main reasons I look forward to watching AEW. The man has went to war with the likes of Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, and currently Wardlow. What's burned into my brain forever is the visuals of him whipping Cody Kenta Rhodes with his belt over and over and over. Just fucking brutal. He's untouchable on the mic. The man's potential is endless. And the best thing about him is he is just getting started. The man who dons my $20 bill. Give it up for Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And no. Cesar, who scored your $20 bill in heel currency?
Here we go, fellas. This is where we probably won't get any crossover at all.
Uh-oh.
The 20. The adult dollar. Motherfuckers can burn 20s more than anybody's business. And this bitch, not to call no ho no bitch, is on my $20 bill. She is a Grand Slam champion. She is entertaining as shit as a heel. She gets the people going, and she sets Twitter on fire, and she
It's a
is
Sable?
in.
Please tell me it's Sable.
No. And she got a gorgeous dump. And I've seen some photos of her at the wedding. And them mommy milkers is filling up. She is Our Lady Pam, gentlemen. Our Lady Pam is way better as a heel than she's ever been as a face. No matter who, if she's teaming up with Sasha Banks to win not only both women's championships and the tag team championships, back when NXT didn't have tag team championships, and the champs went to NXT and fucked bitches up and still did shit. Yeah, bitch went to all 3 shows. Bitches won every belt in that fucking company. Bitches done everything. You know, Money in the Stank, women's, NXT, tag team. She only needs to go back to NXT to win the NXT tag team championship. She has done it all and was the first to do so out of the 4 horsemen. That dunk has always looked good in some tight pants. So, I mean, let's be honest. You gotta give her points. Just having a good dunk.
That was a very good choice.
She's so good. She's so good as a heel. She buried her ex-boyfriend on another company. That's how good she is. That's how good Our Lady Pam is. Her Q&As on Twitter are hot because she doesn't answer any fucking questions, but people still write in. Jesus Christ, Our Lady Pam has to be known as one of the greatest. I put her higher up on the list because she is such a top heel. She deserves the respect. Our Lady Pam.
First ever Money in the Bank winner and Money in the Stank winner. Give it up.
You damn right.
Pam. That's right.
Damn right.
Stixie Drip Drip. $20 bill heel.
My $20 bill is a man that when he for a little run in New Japan as the leader of the Bullet Club, not only was he recognized as one of the best wrestlers, but he was also recognized as one of the best heels. My $20 bill is the cleaner, Kenny Omega. This man, to become the leader of Bullet Club, attacked and essentially threw AJ Styles out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. This man orchestrated the turn on Adam Cole, not only getting rid of Adam Cole, but bringing in the villain, Marty Scurll, and having the Young Bucks turn their back on Adam Cole. During his run as that heel and the leader of the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega was making waves and making headlines. My $20 bill is the cleaner, Kenny Omega.
Nice.
You know, I realize I should be taking these opportunities to talk freely without Mangria interrupting me or Cesar there to, drunkenly yell at me or something like, or Six to kind of, I don't know what Six does. He just kind of sit there and like adjust his hat or something. I should take this opportunity to remind you guys of what I bring to the table. And so I actually have a question for you guys. I'll leave a little pause so you guys can think about the answer in your heads. What is Tim Allen's favorite wrestling match? You get it? No? You didn't get the answer? A last man standing match. As you can tell, I've been hanging out with Madcap Moss, and man, that was a good one. Now, despite what you guys might believe, no, I am not the $20 bill of the heels currency list of the tripod. But you know who is? You know, I want to talk. You know, we've talked about Bully Ray being a heel so modern day, and you know, just based on his opinions, and JBL kind of having that same effect. This next person might be, honestly, I mean, if you told me he was the biggest heel of all time, I would believe you. Just in general, I would disagree in terms of what my personal beliefs are, but if you told me that this person was the biggest heel of all time and you believe that, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? More power to you. I respect your opinion, and I can understand why you think that, because my my $20 bill of all-time heels in pro wrestling is James E. Cornette. That's right, Jim Cornette, the racket-wielding son of a gun. I mean, again, it's Jim Cornette. We all love to hear him talk. We don't necessarily all love what he has to say, but we all love to hear him talk. That man has started more riots in his lifetime than Cesar has had beers. Like, Jim Cornette has started more riots. There have been more riots started by Jim Cornette, than beers that have been drank by Julius Caesar. And that's a high bar. I mean, Cesar probably has already had about 10 before the podcast even started recording. Jim Cornette is just, I mean, whether you agree or disagree with his stance on things, I mean, he has the knowledge, and that's what I think makes him such a great heel, is because even back in the day when he would be managing, he was smart and smarmy, but he was smart, and like you could tell, like he knew what when you heard him talk, you knew that he knew what he was talking about. And they had some basis of knowledge. And then him being a dick about it was what made you want to kill him even more. And that stands true for today. Whether, you know, if you're an AEW fan and you hear him say something about AEW, you're like, oh, fuck you. Like you get hot. Or you hear him say something about someone on NXT and you like it, hey, fuck you. You get hot. He has just a way of pushing buttons that is unlike anything else. I mean, it's only same. I mean, you gotta have them in the same conversation. Vince Russo, I would say the same thing about, but I wouldn't pay to see Vince Russo on TV against a top babyface. If they were both theoretically wrestlers, I wouldn't pay to see Vince Russo on TV. I would pay to see Jim Cornette on TV. I would tune in for Jim Cornette. I wouldn't for Vince Russo. And that's, I think, what separates Cornette, is that Cornette knows how to work a crowd. Cornette knows how to work an audience, and Cornette knows how to get his point across and get people over. That's another thing. He was able to get everyone that he worked with over, while also still coming off as the smarmy piece of shit. And that is why Jim Cornette is my $20 bill. And to Jim Cornette, I know it's not a Sprite, but to you, buddy, $20 bill, it's a pretty good accomplishment. Put that in the Cornette Wrestling Hall of Fame, whatever you got going on, that's a pretty good accomplishment. Being on Bretsky's $20 bill. I'll drink to it.
My $50 bill is the legacy bill for me. From Greenwich, Connecticut. He is currently 52 years old.
How do you have old niggas?
This man has many monikers: the Cerebral Assassin, the Game, the King of Kings. He always does what's best for business. He famously turned on every member of Evolution and even his boyfriend, Shawn Michaels. The sledgehammer strikes to Shawn's and Umaga's back are stuff of legend. His torment of Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Roman Reigns is legendary. What put him as my $50 bill is the torture he put Ric Flair. Poor Ric Flair. He still has my favorite entrance and theme song of all time. He's not playing a game. He is the game, and he is that damn good. On my $50 bill is Gilbert. No, it's Triple H. The Game is on my $50 bill. Heel. Who, Cesar, it made it to your $50 bill as I throw some books at these cats. I'll push the right button this time.
My $50 bill is also a Hall of Famer. My $50 bill is a guy who had 10-star matches, 20-star matches, and them shits was in the Tokyo Dome player with just about anybody on the card. He had some bangers with Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Stone Cold, also throughout all the Attitude Era. His heel runs are stuff of legend. That's when he did his best work. That's when he was champ. That's when he was champ more when he did heel runs. A man who feuded with Triple H, as Mangria just said. A man who tried to steal Triple H's wife and committed adultery and made out with her on camera during a match. This is a man who loves him some vitamin D, loves to wrestle little boys, apparently in one promo. But, you know, he made that shit wrong. Y'all misunderstood that, man. I understood because he's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. This is a man, I don't care how many times you chant he sucks, he does not. He is an Olympic hero and won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. This man is the one, the only inter-European champion at one time. I seen it. He had 2 belts. He's wearing shit to the ring. He did that shit before Sammy Fuckface did. I seen it. He is the Kurt. He is the Angle. He is my Olympic hero. That man is my $50 bill. God damn, that man had some good heel runs.
Did you mention how he said he wanted to have sex with Charmel?
Nah, I forgot.
I want to have sex with Booker T's wife.
You wanted some chocolate in that milk. You wanted some chocolate.
That was a top heel move right there. I remember that. I love Kurt Angle's my favorite wrestler of all time. Of course, an excellent heel, a funny heel as well. That was a great pick, Cesar. Stixie Trip Trip, who made your $50 bill heel?
Now I'm going to just go ahead and say this. My next 2 are probably going to make a lot of people mad. Totally understandable, but this is me. This is me talking. My $50.
No judging, except for Cesar, he'll probably judge you. He always does.
I don't judge Sticks. I judge you when you poor decisions.
Where's the mute button? Let's see, mute.
My $50 bill. The Draw, the Death Machine, Sami Callihan.
I thought you were gonna pick yourself.
He's the Callahan Death Machine. I'm the Stixie Death Drip Machine. This man broke Eddie Edwards' orbital bone. This man formed OVE, Ohio versus everyone. This man even made Tessa Blanchard a world champion. This man psychologically is one of the best heels I have seen in a while. That wasn't in a major promotion. My $50 bill is Sami Callihan.
Really good pick.
He's the one who used a bat to break that dude's socket. He was an accident.
He hit the chair and it ricocheted off the chair and ended up hitting Eddie Edwards' orbital bone, broke his orbital bone and like his nose.
Oh my god!
And even though he was like backstage, he was sorry for it, manned up for it, but also embraced it. And that, and just like I said, his run as a heel and Impact, a lot of people still kind of say he might be to this day. It's debatable, but Sami Callihan is my $50 bill.
You know, Nia Jax can take a page out of Sami Callahan's book.
Now is where we get to the big guns. That's right. You get to the big heels. We're getting to the $50 bill. That's right, the Fitty bill. The Fitty bill. And I feel like at this point, I'm shooting this beforehand and sending him into Mangria, so I have no idea what these other 3 fucking guys are saying. But I think at this point, when you get to the $50 bill and the $100 bill left, there's only 2 people that you're allowed to have in either one of these categories. You know, obviously I said, Jim Cornette, I could see if you really think he is the biggest heel of all time, rather, I would be like, you know what? Sure, I can accept your opinion. But in my opinion, and I feel like in the opinion of many, the top two heels of all time are pretty easy to pick. It's just differing opinions on what order. So for me, my $50 bill, and henceforth, in my opinion, the second best of all time, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And I'll do my best. It's currently, what time is it? Upon recording this, it is 2:33 in the morning for me. And I am in a flat of 7 other people. So I'm going to do my best to do this. And I'm going to try to do my best to do it justice. So here goes. This is the content you're all here for. I know. You know, Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, woo! Gotta keep it a little quiet. Gotta keep it a little low-key. Just because I don't want the group chat popping off at me. But no, Ric Flair is my $50 bill. And what can you say? Again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but what can you say about Ric Flair that hasn't been said about Ric Flair? I mean, you can go back and look at the WWE Evil documentary that they did on Flair. The only reason to me that he's $50 bill, not the $100 bill, is that he was such a dick that he became beloved for it and respected for it. You know, I mean, obviously we respect everyone. Like, you know, we respect, you know, the Miz, and we respect, you know, guys, you know, all these guys who have paid their dues. You know, Piper, we respect them in hindsight. But, you know, but Flair at points was getting himself. Well, it translated into being a face, but he still. That's the thing. So he had everyone's respect, especially later in his career. Like by the time his time before, right before Evolution, he had the respect, and people were cheering him. But he still then made you hate him again, and he rekindled that Nature Boy spirit. That's how good of a heel he is. Even now, my man is still living the life of Nature Boy Ric Flair. I mean, it's crazy. The legacy of Ric Flair, he is a pop culture icon. Arguably the greatest of all time, not just heel or face, but just in general in the wrestling business. Arguably the GOAT. His accolades, you know, would take longer to list. It would take longer to list his accolades than it would to list things that he hasn't done. Which I guess, you know, it's the same thing. But you got what I'm saying. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, is so good at making you want to just strangle him. And that's why, again, you had guys like the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, those kinds of guys, when they went up against him, they became that much better. And obviously, you know, Steamboat and Dusty were, you know, phenomenal baby faces. But the fact of the matter is, and the point of it is that without Ric Flair as their dancing partner, they would have still been massive faces, but they wouldn't have been as massive as they were. You know, if Dusty Rhodes is cutting these promos, you know, those phenomenal, you know, epic promos on just some random dude, like a mid-card heel, it doesn't have the same weight. But it did have that weight with Ric Flair. Ric Flair knew exactly how to push everyone's buttons. He was what you wanted to be, and that's why you hated him. Everyone wanted to be Ric Flair. You saw Ric Flair on your TV, whether it was 1985 or it was 2015. You see Ric Flair on TV, you're like, I want to be that guy. And that's why you hate him. Because he knows you want to be that guy. He knows you want to be him. And he flaunts it. He has the Rolexes. He has the women. He has the money. And he lets you know. And so to you, Ric Flair, I say cheers for a phenomenal career. Please don't wrestle again. Cheers to a phenomenal career. It was very tough to put you at $50 and not $100, but I think everyone will understand why I put you at $50 when I go reveal my $100 bill next. But here's to Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. Woo!
Now, gentlemen, we have reached the end. The $100 bill. This is my of all time heel. Also from Greenwich, Connecticut.
Okay.
He is 76 years old.
All these old niggas.
First of the true tyrants. Threw his weight, power, and money around, including his genetic jackhammer, made anyone who crossed the boss pay. Most famously against Stone Cold Steve Austin. He not only had a match against a one-legged guy, He also had a match against his daughter, not to mention the sometimes hard to watch storyline of him and Trish constantly making out in front of a comatose Linda McMahon. He even got away with saying the N-word on television. He is a former ECW champion, former WWE champion, and even a Royal Rumble winner. It was him, Austin. It was him all along. On my $100 bill, the ultimate heel, the greatest of all times, Mr. McMahon. Cesar, who topped your list? The $100 bill, who was on your Benjamin?
I'm gonna need to go last. Sticks.
Oh,
I got a rant about mine. Sticks,
uh-oh.
please.
I hope you're sitting down, Brett. No, Sticks, go
Please
ahead.
regale us. Please regale us with your $100 bill.
Stixy Drip Drip, you're Benjamin, sir.
Like I said, this one's probably going to make a lot of people mad. But my $100 bill, this man says that right now we are in his era. This man beat up Kenny Omega. This man just kicked out an OG member of the Bullet Club and his family member. He kicked out the Gorillas of Destiny. Mine, King Switch, the Switchblade, Jay White.
Wow.
All right. My $100 bill is somebody I personally hate. He's a heel to me. He's always going to be a heel. He's a heel right now. He's been a face for most of his career, and he's a heel right now. You know why?
Wait a minute.
This old fuck. He's a fucking vampire. He's 200 years old.
Wait a
All he
minute.
does is
Wait
beat
a
black
minute.
ass every week on a show that comes on Wednesday nights. This fucker goes out of his way to beat up young black ass any chance he gets. This motherfucker is living like in 1775 and Abe Lincoln ain't been president yet. All he wants to do is whip black ass and make these niggas work for him so they can pick his cotton. He was probably the inspiration when Quentin Tarantino wrote Django with Leonardo DiCaprio playing Cotton Candy. This nigga probably played Cotton Candy, and he actually had niggas on his farm, and some big buff cracker named Django came up there and whooped his ass. This cracker's so white, he paints his face white and comes out to snow falling from the goddamn sky. These niggas bought a snow machine so it can feel like the old cotton days flowing upon him while he's getting rich. So fuck this old man. Nah, I'm playing. This Ric Flair.
What a
y'all
swerve.
thought I was
What
gonna
a swerve.
You thought I was gonna say it, but I hit you with the swerve, bro. The swerve, bro. Nah, it's the dirtiest player in the game. Come on, man. It's Ric Flair. 2-time Hall of Famer, probably 8-time Hall of Famer if you let him in with the 400. I don't know if they did or not. But goddamn, Ric Flair has been a Hall of Famer 2 different promotions because he's the greatest. I mean, it took how many years later for Cena to get 16 title runs to even tie it. I mean, I don't think Randy ever going to win the title again. Randy was also going to be on my list, but
Yeah,
Randy to me is only 50 or 100, and I felt like those two spots I picked where I like those guys a little bit better than Randy. I wouldn't disrespect him like that. But no, it's Ric Flair, man. He's the dirtiest player in the game. The guy from NWA to WCW to WWE found a way to back to Impact with Jay Lethal, found his way to reinvent himself, but still be the same guy and have the same move set. I don't think even 18-year-old Ric Flair did a fucking move off the top rope. Somebody came over and caught his ass, and he was like, no.
He still hasn't landed that move to this day.
Yeah, they did that shit in training once, and the trainer was like, God damn it, boy, that's some selling. I need you to do that. That's got to be your signature move for life. And he's kept it that way. The dirtiest player in the game. I mean, he's such good of a heel. He skeeted out a top woman heel that we have in Charlotte. This motherfucker's heel juice runs deep, right? Deeper than 15 feet of dick than the hard R's on a Saturday night if they found some white woman willing. God damn right. That's how deep Ric Flair shit goes. He's the best heel ever. Top of my list, the $100 bill.
I think in honor.
Hey, you could literally say, instead of black skeet your soul, He skeet. He puts that heel skeet in your badge.
He does that. He drops it deep in you.
He out of honor of Ric Flair, I think on 3 we should give a woo. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yeah, baby. Do the walk.
Okay.
Do the walk, Cesar. Well, I
With
did.
the Arn Anderson arthritis force.
Here we go. Drum roll, please. The $100 bill reveal is finally upon us. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time for me, the Great Bretsky 99, to tell you who I put at the top of my list. Who I gave the honor and privilege of being the $100 bill on my heel currency list. Now, I don't know what these other boys have picked. If I'm going before them, after them, but the middle of them, I don't know. But I would just go to bat, and I would say that if they don't have the same guy that I have, at least that $50 bill, then I've got a bone to pick with each of them. Now, I already said that Ric Flair was my $50 bill, and Ric Flair is a lot of people's $100 bills. So you're probably wondering who the hell else could it be? And that's simple. It is the greatest heel of all time, Mr. McMahon. That is right. I mean, who else, in my opinion, no one else could be $100 bill. He is the greatest heel of all time, and he continues to be a heel. My man coming out, squatting 1,000 pounds at age, 76, coming down to the ring with Austin Theory, taking the greatest stunner of all time, and people are going wild. But you know why? Because they want to see him get his ass kicked. And he's 76. And they want to see him get his ass kicked when he was like 45 or whatever it was. Or no, man, I'm really overestimating how many years ago the 90s were. But you got my point. Stone Cold Steve Austin, again, we talk about the dynamic between heel and the face, how you need a phenomenal heel to make a phenomenal baby face. Stone Cold Steve Austin has not reached the heights that he does without Mr. McMahon. I mean, The Rock, you had The Rock as a phenomenal heel, you had Triple H as a phenomenal heel. Great. Even Undertaker, Kane, Mick Foley. When it came down to it, it always went back to Vince versus Austin. Mr. McMahon, for all of the things, for all the respect that people give him, and for all of the shit that people talk about him, whether it's, you online, you're like, oh, I wouldn't have booked it that way, or how could you release Samoa Joe, twice? It's like, you can't help, like, when that guy's on screen, and you give him the respect, you sing, no chance in hell, along with the theme song, but then he still gets you to boo him. Because he is the greatest heel of all time. And it is the simplest formula for a heel, in my opinion. And that's why it's the biggest success. He is the boss that you want to punch in the face. And he knows he's the boss you want to punch in the face. So he, kind of like how Ric Flair knows that you want to be him, so he flaunts it. So Mr. McMahon, he knows that he's the asshole boss, so he just plays into it more. He's like, you think I'm an asshole? Well, wait till you see what I do next week. He made so many stars. I mean, obviously, you don't talk about him being a booker, he made so many stars, but him as the character of Mr. McMahon on TV made so many stars. Better, Austin, Rock, Mankind, Triple H, hell, Shane and Stephanie, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, and even in some ways, Bret Hart. That's the mark of a great heel, is that he can piss you off, get that nuclear heat, make people better around him. Those are the three things. Get the nuclear heat, piss you the fuck off, and make people around him better. Because, if he's coming out being like, Austin, I'm going to fire you next week, and then he actually does it, and then Austin goes away, it's like, okay, what? Like, why? But, he said, Austin, I'm going to fire you next week, and then next week Austin comes out and he fills his Corvette with concrete and, the facial expressions and the sound, it makes everyone better and it makes business better. And that's best for business, to take a line from someone who I would have given a tripod, one of my coins to if we weren't just doing dollar bills. Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, is simply put either the greatest heel of all time or the second greatest heel of all time. And the only one that he could ever take a backseat to, in my opinion, is Ric Flair. But in my honest opinion, there's no better heel in the history of professional wrestling than Mr. McMahon. And for that, Mr. McMahon, cheers. Here's one for you. Here's my $100 bill. I still got, this is a nice tall beer. I want to give another cheers to each of my tripod brothers. Sticks Adam, here's a cheers for you. Mangria Fuel, here's cheers for you. And Cesar, my man, here's a cheers for you too. Let's get some more down the hatch. I know I'm taking up a little bit more of your time. Some more of this down the hatch. We gotta celebrate the cheers. Gotta adhere to the rules of the cheers. I mean, you can't just be. I'm not gonna be a dick. I'm not. I'm not like my cousin. The guy who's in APPW and really sad now. I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna forget the rules. I'm not gonna forget my respect. So come on, here. If you have a beer at home, drink along with me. And with that being said, to each and every one of you tripod pretzels, each of every one of you audience members, like this video, share, subscribe. And my last message before they continue on with the rest of the show, unless it's the end, I have no idea how Mangria is going to put this out. Subscribe to Mangria Fuel's YouTube page. You're watching this on YouTube. Like this video, share it with your friends. Get this out there because this is some good shit, pal. Comment. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with our picks for our currency, and let us know your own currency. Tell us what you think, what you would put as your currency. And to each of you audience members, thank you for tuning in. Cheers to you. Down the hatch.
I did reach out to the Steel Real Army and ask them who they thought would be on their $100 bill. Zanka was torn 3 ways. He said Vince, Miz, and Edge. Jake went with Miz for his $100 bill. Andy went with Vince. Typical Cynic, he went with Cynic.
So it doesn't count.
My buddy Jeff, he said Vince McMahon as well. JH dropping Bobby the Brain Heenan. Franco went with Edge. Tryon went with 2008 Jericho when he had the short hair and the suit coming out. Zank Chris went with the $1 Million Man. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening.
I will say, I did talk about this at my buddy at work, and he picked Randy Orton as his top heel.
Randy Orton is a phenomenal heel. I just didn't pick him because I didn't want. I was trying really hard not to have crossover. I thought for sure both of you were going to pick MJF. I'm shocked that neither of you picked MJF.
It was hard, man, because I waited
so many.
on it. Like Bayley beat out MJF, and that's the lowest I would have put MJF.
Yeah.
Just because you said he didn't put the on here. So I was like, well, I don't want to pick MJF. Somebody else is going to pick MJF. So I'll pick Bayley because she's great.
I went with Ring of Honor, New Japan, and Impact, but I would have had Randy as my 100 because he brought 2 heels together when he punted another heel, Stephanie McMahon. So I mean, his heel work is synonymous. So that's who I would have won if I would have had WWE. But you can't go wrong with any of the selections that we have made.
Jay White is a great heel right now.
Punting Vince McMahon and then going on to win the Royal Rumble.
Beautiful.
Epic hill.
Beautiful. It's good shit there, pal.
Shout out to Randy Orton. He's on my gold bar.
He's about Fort Knox.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. And until next time, watch the Tripod. New episode coming up next.